Just by a show of hands, how many people have heard of 4 to 40? Okay, lots of you. So I'm not going to belabor or go over a lot about what 4 to 40 is. You can see from the sign here kind of what our purpose is. So it's an employment project that Campus for All and Creative Options Regina came together to start about 3 years ago. As it says on the 4 to 40 banner, it's an initiative to connect people experiencing disability with forward-thinking employers who embrace a flexible 4 to 40-hour work week. There's just a few things that I want to say tonight about why and how we do this work, and then I want to turn things over to Miranda, as I've said. And we're so fortunate to have Miranda, who's been hired to carry out the day-to-day activities of 4 to 40, and she's our one and only employee. Even though 4 to 40 is somewhat unique, what I have to say is not terribly unique at all. It's based on the work of many others. Many of you will have heard the statement that we stand on the shoulders of giants. There are many who have paved the way for us, including John McGee, the father of gentle teaching, and a whole host of other individuals who have brought not only their minds but their hearts to this work. And you can tell by the other speakers, Tim and Connie and some of the others that will follow, that they also have brought their hearts and minds to this work. They understand that nothing happens unless we make ourselves vulnerable and open ourselves to others. So there are 4 words or 4 phrases I want to leave with you tonight, and I'm going to say them now and then I'll repeat them. But one is a conversation, an important question, collaboration, and relationship. So the first word I want to give you tonight is conversation. You may have heard it said that a good conversation can change the world. If you haven't, you just heard it now. I don't know about the whole world, but a conversation changed our little corner of the world by leading us to start 4 to 40. So I remember the day that Michael came to our office and we were just standing there talking and having a conversation. And that's how the world can change. And the world doesn't change just by any conversation. Not just any conversation has the potential to change the world or our corner of it. But this was not any conversation. It was a conversation with a purpose. It asked the question, what is a good or meaningful life? And that's not just for the people we work with, the individuals who have disabilities. It's also for ourselves. While there are a whole host of things that contribute to having a meaningful life, I want to focus on just a couple. Not surprisingly, the answer to this question is the same for most people, whether you have a visible disability or, like me, your disability is invisible. We all have a disability. The first thing is being your authentic self, or being able to discover for yourself who you are and to actually be your authentic self. Something we know that has been denied to people with disabilities for a very long time. And I think that's what Connie was just talking about being loved. And Marcus Buckingham was talking about flourishing, what it is that you bring love, and that we bring our contribution. And we do that by being our authentic selves. What do I mean by being your authentic self? Generally, we refer to this as being real or letting your light shine. And I was just looking up some quotes today, and it said that true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. And there was another, that's by Brené Brown, and there was another author, Sue Fitzmaurice, who said what it means to be authentic. It means to be concerned with truth, more concerned with truth than opinions, to be sincere and not pretend, to be free from hypocrisy and walk your talk, to know who you are and to be that person. And that's so important for the people, for ourselves and for the people we work with. To not fear others seeing your vulnerabilities, being confident to walk away from situations where you can't be yourself, being awake to your own feelings, being free from others' opinions of you, and accepting and loving yourself. And those are the things that we sought, or we think that make up a good life and that we want to have for people. And that's why we created this project. Another part of that was being encouraged to dream. Who am I? And understanding my authentic self leads to who do I want to be? What do I want to be? Who do I want to spend time with, and how do I want to spend my time? What is fulfilling work, and what is my dream job? Which leads to the next question: who's going to support me or challenge me? Like the grit in the oyster that creates the pearl. How do we help people to be themselves, to explore their dreams or their dream job, to find a place where they can be their authentic selves? And that's what we sought to do with 4 to 40. And how we sought to do that was through collaboration or community. We needed to seek help. We were two organizations coming together, but we didn't know everything. We didn't know employment. We know disability, but we didn't know about being an employer in the community, or what it's like to run a corporation or your own family business. So we sought help. First of all, we sought help through the Saskatchewan Employment Transition Initiative, which provided support through a 1-year renewable grant funding and training for employees. We also established a steering committee, and we asked others to be involved with that. We asked SaskTel and the YMCA and Strategy Lab and the Career Center at the University of Regina, and a number of individuals and organizations who are too numerous to mention here, including all the individuals we support, parents and employers. They all came on board. But what really sustains this initiative, or is at the heart of this collaboration, and its relationship. It's being connected to each other and to something worthwhile. We don't always agree. We don't always see things. We see things differently. We trust one another, we have respect for one another, and we share our knowledge. We are committed to one another, to the conversation, as well as to the question at its root: what is a good life? And we are committed to finding answers. This is how 4 to 40 started, and how it continues to be sustained: through a conversation, through important questions, through collaboration and community, and through relationship. You get more back than you can ever imagine. Now I'm going to turn things over to Miranda.
Thank you, Faith. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time talking about the profound effect that relationships can have when seeking out employment opportunities for the people that we support. The relationships we build in our communities help us to establish real work, meaningful work, and help the people we support really find their authentic self. For 4 to 40, meaningful work isn't just being good at your job. It's not just doing the tasks that you're assigned every day. It's about creating bonds with your coworkers, being invited out for a beer on a Friday, or going to Sally's baby shower for coffee downstairs. Success at work has ties in creating relationships all around that job. A lot of hard work and effort goes into creating strong relationships in all aspects of the search for employment. I kind of see it like a planet. Our job seeker is right in the middle of this, and orbiting around them is many, many moons, many, many areas of support. We have a room full of them tonight. We have parents, we have support workers, we have teachers, we have people collaborating with us all the time that orbit around that job seeker, orbit around the people that we care about. And those relationships are continually evolving and continually being built and built up and built up. The job seeker is this important piece. They're right in the middle. Taking the time to get to know each individual that we work with, the likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams, it strengthens my ability to support them to find their authentic self and find a job that has real meaning for them. To expand that reach a little bit further, we have this plethora of support. Family, close friends, supports, teachers, community groups, job coaches, our steering committee. The individuals we work with have this network of people around them who genuinely care. It would be a disservice to this project if I were to ignore the value that these people bring to the lives of the people we support. Involving families and support teams in things like the steps in a hiring process, asking for advice, simple tasks like resume building, it ensures that we aren't leaving this important group of people out. Sorry. So once we have our job seeker there, The next most important one, it may actually surprise you, is actually the employer. The employers that we work with are just as important as the people that we're finding work for. Our employers need to feel like they are supported by our project. They can trust our project to support them in the endeavor of hiring people with disabilities. They have to understand the questions that Faith alluded to earlier and the challenges that people that we support face when it comes to finding work. These employers are the gems that we seek out. I am tasked with getting to know an organization. What makes them each tick? Where are their values rooted? But also, where can we help them become more inclusive? And far into the future, how we support employees and coworkers in that job. Through challenges and frustrations to promotions and recognition of a job well done, a fabulous and valued part of the team. For some of the organizations we work with, a simple email to check on them reminds that I'm there to lend an ear or advice whenever they need. For others, a tray of cookies is all that their team needs to win their heart. Employers need to feel that they can trust us, that they are supported by us, they're in the success of their employees. None of these relationships really ever have a defined beginning and an end. They're always orbiting around that job seeker. There could be many supports, family members, maybe a couple employers, maybe a past employer. It's forever growing and evolving. Before I wrap up tonight, I'm going to just leave you with a story. My experiences here at 4 to 40 have been phenomenal. It's been a year of growth for myself. And where you alluded to loving work, I truly love my job, and each experience that we have just, it fills my day, and it allows me to be a better support person and a better job seeker for our job seekers. So there was an experience here in Regina where it really brought home for me how important each one of these relationships are. Sometimes it's easy to question a relationship that you may have thought was well-rooted and strong, but it started to falter a little. I saw this firsthand with a local business here. There's kind of two stories built into one, so I'll start on one end of it. I had the opportunity to meet an individual that we support. She stole my soul from day one. She spoke to me. She was loud, and she was a little bit inappropriate sometimes. She was funny, but she was organized. She was just so vibrant. I wanted to help her find a job, and she really, really, really wanted a job and had just not been successful till then. On the other end of the story, we have an employer who had been working with 4 to 40 for some time. They had multiple hires. They had an individual that was working with them that wasn't really loving his job. And that's the joy of this project, is that in finding our authentic self, we have to be confident to walk away from situations where you can't be yourself. So this employer and this employee decided to part ways. It worked out perfectly for me and for the job seeker that I was also working with, and for the young man who walked away from his job. He was able to move on and find support in other ways and move on to a new and better job that was better suited for him. And for the young woman that had stolen my heart, it opened up an opportunity for her to meet with this employer. I was a little bit panic-stricken in reaching out to this employer after we had terminated the first relationship with him. And before I could even spend too much time dwelling on it, it was actually the employer that had reached out to me. They called and said, hey, we're really missing having someone here. The coworkers, the culture at work is really missing having a 4 to 40 employee. Do you have some resumes that we can start this process all over again and find somebody who really, really wants to work? So I learned in that the challenges can sometimes be hard, and that sometimes work doesn't go exactly how we envisioned it to go. But in the end, and here's the happy ending to the story, is this young woman interviewed for the job and was selected as a successful applicant. She's still working there. She's thriving. She's doing a fantastic job every single day. This experience just shows how important each relationship we build can be, from the ground up and then every step along the way. As Faith said earlier, we are sustained by all these people coming together. It's not just me plunking folks into jobs, and it's not a single support person or a teacher or a family member or a job coach that can create success on their own. It's each little piece filtering in when needed, sometimes when not needed, but building a strong base for the people we support to not only secure meaningful and paid employment, but to keep it, to find the thing that they love, and to be a valuable and important part of an organization, and to truly embrace their authentic and perfect self for the rest of the world.